mean by that? So much what should be 30 days battery done?
No, because it's all about processing power they need.
But even I want list to me the best system from back. Their price is not about the same thing. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling with back. Only some Acer's, only Microsoft, even Microsoft software.
With my life.
What?
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Praise the living Jesus. We give you all the glory. We give you all the glory. We give you all praise God, hallelujah, praise God, hallelujah. Father, we give you all the glory, we bless your holy name. Thank you, for to you shall the gathering of your people be. Thank you for our service today. Thank you for the presence of your Holy Spirit. Thank you for your mercies over us. Thank you for what you are determined to do today. Thank you for this special day that has been commemorated all over the world as Mother's Day. Father, as we celebrate our women today, let heaven celebrate them. Father, rejoice with us as we bless our mothers today. Let your blessings be permanent in their lives in the mighty name of Jesus. Holy Spirit, we welcome you to today's service. Without you, there is nothing we can do. We ask that you manifest yourself, glorify Jesus in our midst. Lord, as many as have come here with a particular need in their heart, as many as are watching us all over the internet, Father, let there be a divine visitation today in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Most High God, for all that you are determined to do. Glory be to your holy name. In Jesus' name we pray. Oh If there is anything that they need as a woman, they need more grace. The grace to be able to accommodate their husband, more grace to be able to overlook the shortcomings of every member of their household. Let's pray that God multiply your grace upon every woman in this church. Multiply your grace upon every woman in our lives. God, we have so much grace. We release no more grace upon the land. God of heaven, in the name of Jesus Christ, oh God, we pray that you will multiply your grace upon their lives. We pray that you will multiply your grace upon their lives. In the name of Jesus Christ, oh God, only God of heaven shall in the name of Jesus Christ, oh God, they need more grace. God of heaven, we ask that you will multiply your grace. In the name of Jesus Christ, oh God, in Jesus' name that we are praying. We want to pray for all our women that you will give them a large heart. If the heart of any individual is large, it's going to accommodate, it's going to tolerate, it's still going to love. It's going to love, it's going to overlook many things. We will pray for our women in our lives. We will pray for our women in the church of God, that Father give them a large heart. In the name of Jesus Christ, oh God, give them a large heart in the name of Jesus Christ, oh God. You will enlarge their heart. This morning we lift up all our women in the name of Jesus Christ unto you. My God and my Father, enlarge their heart in the name of Jesus, oh God, that they can love, and so that they can tolerate, so that they can accommodate, so that they can overlook in the name of Jesus Christ. Enlarge the heart of all our women in the name of Jesus Christ, oh God. Holy Spirit is like a careful in the name of Jesus Christ, oh God. In Jesus' name that we are praying. We will pray for all our women and say, Daddy, establish them in the house that you have put them. You will establish all our women in the name of Jesus Christ, oh God. We lift up all our women unto you this morning. Daddy, you will establish them. Even where you have planted them, Father, where they belong. That is where they belong. My God and my Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, oh God. You will establish them physically. You will establish them financially. You will establish them emotionally. You will establish them, oh God, in the name of Jesus Christ. Oh God of heaven, the kingdom of Jesus Christ, oh God, establish our women. That is where they belong. In the name of Jesus Christ, oh God, with their husband, with their children, you will establish them. In the name of Jesus Christ, oh God of heaven, in the name of Jesus Christ, oh God, in Jesus' name that we are praying. I want you as an individual to pray for the woman that is in your life. The woman in your life, either the woman as a mother or the woman as a wife, that the Lord, you will bless them. Let's release the blessings of God upon all our women in the name of Jesus. Father, this morning we bring our women before you, God. We pray that you will release your blessings upon them. Our God of heaven, by the reason of today, God of heaven, they've set today aside as a woman day. God of heaven, in the name of Jesus Christ, God, we ask that you will release your blessing. Even upon my wife, you will release your blessings, oh God, upon my sister, in the name of Jesus Christ, oh God. Every woman, oh God of heaven, that is associated to me, my Father, my God, I lift them up before you, in the name of Jesus Christ, oh God of heaven, in blessing that you will bless them, in the name of Jesus Christ, oh God. Holy Spirit, Holy God of heaven, that Shaddai, in Jesus' name that we are praying. Father, we want to thank you this morning. We give you praise because there is no like unto you. We thank you for all the women that are in our lives. We thank you for all the women that are in this church. We lift you high, Daddy. We say, accept all our thanks in Jesus' name. Father, we bring all the women in the house before you this morning. You will favor them. In the name of Jesus Christ, O God, you will let there be a divine attention to their outcry this morning in the name of Jesus. Even Father, by the reason of setting this day aside as a day for women, my God and my Father, we come before you that this morning heaven will attend to their cry in the name of Jesus Christ. Their very heart desire, God of heaven, this morning, the heaven will open and hear them in the name of Jesus Christ. Father, in blessing, you will bless all our women. In the name of Jesus Christ, O God, in the name of Jesus, we pray that you will establish them in the home that you've planted them in the name of Jesus Christ. We reject divorce in every home this morning in the name of Jesus. You will unite them together with their husband and their children in the name of Jesus. Father, God of heaven, we want to thank you. Father, look upon us this morning with your mercy and put an end to the plague of coronavirus in the name of Jesus. Father, we want to commit the rest of the service unto you. Holy Spirit, take control. Let your name alone be glorified. In Jesus' name that we have prayed.
Amen.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
But the psalmist says, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. On behalf of the ministers in the church and all the men's fellowship, want to wish all our women a happy Mother's Day. Let's put our hands together for them, please. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Every one of us, everybody on this planet has a woman in his or her life. So that you have a mother, you have a wife, or you have sisters. And women play very important roles. Now let's listen to some of the announcements we have for today. As usual, our Facebook page remains the same, rccgchristchapel.com. And for those of you that want to give your tithes and your offering, our PayPal account is rccgmeriden@gmail.com. Our website is christchapelcity.org. You can also pay your tithes and give your offering by credit card or PayPal as appropriate. The church bank account is Bank of America 3850-100-444, that's 44438. I say it again, the bank account, the church bank account number, Bank of America 3850-100-444308. Praise the Lord. Now, every day we come together for prayers online, of course, and from 8 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And we've been doing that for the past, I'd say 6 or 7 or 8 weeks now. And God has been glorious, God has been wonderful. The prayer line phone number is 605-313-4875. And the passcode is 522260. I'll say it once again. The prayer line number is 605-313-4875. And the passcode is 522260. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Right now, shall we bring out our tithes and our offering? For those of us that don't bring out your tithes and offering. And before we let's just raise it up to God. Just want you to say a word of prayer on it. Use it as a point of contact to what you desire. Abraham's blessings are mine. Abraham's blessings are mine. I am blessed in the morning, I am blessed in the evening. Abraham's blessings are mine. Hallelujah. Abraham's blessings are mine. Abraham's blessings are mine. I am blessed in the morning, I am blessed in the evening. Abraham's blessings are mine. I live the table unto me. I live the table unto me. I live the table unto me. Oh, let your rest down, I'm running over. Father, we thank you. We glorify your holy name for another opportunity to worship you with our tithes and offering. We lift it up unto you, Lord. Let it be acceptable in thy sight in Jesus' name. Amen. Father, Lord, we just thank you, Lord. We thank you for the strength to be able to walk. We thank you, Lord, for the strength, Lord, to be able to give. We give you all glory, all honor, and all praise, Lord. Father, we just worship you, Lord. I will pray for more grace to be able to give more, O Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. For those that desire to give and are not able to give, Father, bless them in Jesus' name. Amen. We worship you, we bless your holy name. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. Praise the Lord. Praise the living Jesus. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Let the living praise the Lord. Hallelujah. If you are excited for our women, praise the Lord. If you appreciate the grace of God in their life, praise the Lord. Let Christ come again, praise the Lord. Amen. This morning, let's have our seat for a few moments. This morning, I'm not the one giving the message, but we have a pastor that will be giving us a message. But I want to pay tribute to our women first, and that may take me another 10-15 minutes thereabout, and then the pastor will come and give us the message. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the women in the house. I want to thank God for the life of all our women, all our daughters, our sisters, our mothers. We thank God for your life. And before I go into my short tributes, I want to thank God that gave you to us, and I want to appreciate Him for His faithfulness in your life. Take all glory, King of Kings. Take all glory, Lord of Lords. Take all glory, our Savior. belongs to you. Hallelujah. That's what a song will be. That's what a song will be. That's what a song will be. Hallelujah. That's what a song will be. That's what a song will be. That's what a song will be. Once again, we appreciate God for our mothers. Our open heavens this morning, I think the memory verse is very key. And that memory verse was taken from the book of Ephesians chapter 6. And I'm just going to read Ephesians chapter 6 from verse 1 to 3. Ephesians chapter 6 from verse 1 to 3. It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Can we say that this is right?
This is right.
It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Then he went on to say, honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. So that was our open heavens this morning. And like I said earlier, I'm not the one preaching, but I'm just going to give this as a tribute to all women, daughters, wives, sisters, mothers. I want to say, just like the psalmist said in Psalm 139, verse 14, it says, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all female members of Christ Chapel, Meriden. We celebrate you today. We celebrate the grace of God in your lives. We celebrate all that you have represented for us as individuals. We honor you. The word of God that we read said we must honor you. And we honor you for many reasons. Among those reasons were because of who you are. We honor you for who you are. And what I mean by that is, you are our helper. You are our teachers. The very first teachers that we ever know in life were you. You are our caregivers. You are our cheerleaders. You are our partners. You are our lovers. You are the one that gave birth to us. So we honor you for who you are. Without you, we could not exist. And that is not an hyperbole. That is not just sugar talking. Adam was alone all by himself until Eve showed up. Without you, we could not exist. We honor you for how you did it. How you did it. Everything that you did. We honor you for how you did it. We honor you for your love. We honor you for your sacrifice. We honor you for your kindness. We honor you for your patience. We honor you for your hope. Even when many of us look hopeless, you still believe in us. We honor you for your faith in us. We honor you for when you did it. Everything that you did, we honor you for when you did it. You did it when we were most vulnerable. have no say in the whole picture. How many say does a fetus have? How many say does a baby in the womb have in terms of his own destiny? We honor you for when you did it. We honor you for when you did all that you did, even as a toddler, when we did not know our right from our left. We honor you for when you did it, when we were most helpless. We honor you for that. We honor you for when you did it, when we were nothing. Many of us are who we are today, but 20, 30 years ago, that picture was not clear. When we were nothing, you were there. We honor you for that. We honor you for when you did all that you did. During the day, during the night, at all times, we honor you for when you did it. We honor you for why you did it. Why you did everything that you did. A lot of it still remains a mystery. The mystery that guides the bond between a mother and a child. We honor you for that bond. We honor you for your large heart. We honor you for your love and sacrifice. And we honor you for what you did. For conceiving us, for giving us a chance to live, for giving birth to us. And you did not stop there. You did not stop there. You actually raised us. You believed in us. And you continue to sacrifice for us until we became who we are. We honor you today. We will honor you the following ways. We will honor you by remembering you. For those of you that have gone to be with the Lord, your memory is still treasured among us. We honor you for your memory. We honor you for all that you taught us. We honor you for all that you taught us. And many of you, long after you have gone, we will still remember all that you have taught us. Our God will satisfy you with long life, with good health. You will see your children's children in the mighty name of Jesus. We will honor you by obeying you. That is what the Word of God says. It says this is right. We will honor you by giving respect that you deserve. We will honor you in giving. We will honor you by appreciating you, both in kind and in other means, our words. We will honor you. We will celebrate you. Thank God for today. Again, we say Happy Mother's Day. We will honor you by building on your legacy. We will make you proud. Once again, Happy Mother's Day to every woman, to every girl child, to every mother, to every sister, every daughter in the house. I'm going to close by asking the church to pray a few prayers with me. And then we have the man of God comes up to give us a message today. The blessings I want to pronounce on our women is taken from the book of Psalm 128. Psalm 128. And where you see man, you can also substitute woman. where you see man, you can substitute woman. We will read it and we'll take 1 or 2 prayer points from there, and I'm going to sit down. Can we stand up as we read this word of God together? It says, blessed is everyone that feareth the Lord. Let's read it together. That walketh in his ways. For thou shalt eat the labor of thy hands. Happy shalt thou be, and it shall be well with thee. Thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine by the side of thy house. Thy children like olive plants round about thy table. Behold, that thus shall the man or woman be blessed that fears the Lord. The Lord shall bless thee out of Zion, and thou shalt see the good of Jerusalem all the days of thy life. Yea, thou shalt see thy children's children, and peace upon Israel. We are going to use some of those verses to pray for every woman in the house. Amen. And if you want to just focus on the verse 5 and 6, that is fine. You could use the whole scripture. But I want us to pronounce blessing. We pronounce blessing in our prayer, and all men by mandate, when you get home too, you still bless them. Amen. So it should not just be blessing by mouth, we should also do that in kind. So let's just pray for our women. The word of God says, the Lord bless thee out of Zion. Thou wilt see the good of Jerusalem all the days of thy life. The good of this country, the good of your community. You will see it all the days of your life. You will see your children's children, and peace upon them. He says, you will eat the labor of your hand. Happy shall thou be, it shall be well with thee. Father, we decree concerning all our women, all our mothers, that it shall be well with them. They shall eat the labor of their hand. It shall be well with them. They shall be happy all the days of their life. They will be fruitful. Their children will be pillars that they reckon with. In the mighty name of Jesus. They shall see the good of their community all the days of their life. The Lord bless them from his holy hills. The Lord bless them from Zion. It shall be well with them. We'll lift up all our mothers into your hand today. Father, they shall see their children's children, and peace upon them. In the mighty name of Jesus, Father, let it be well with them. Let it be well with them. As we celebrate all our women today, as we celebrate all the girl child today, Father, let it be well with them. Strengthen them, strengthen their vision. Lord, empower them, oh God. As we have prayed earlier, more grace, oh God, to excel in life. Father, deposit it into their life. Father, make the difference, oh God. Let your glory, let your mighty power be revealed in them. Thank you, Most High God. We give you praise, we worship you. In Jesus' most precious name, we are prayed. Amen. Let somebody shout, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let's have our seat. I'm going to use this time to invite one of our pastors to come up and give us a word for today. We have the honor of Pastor Peter Olatunbosun from Jesus House, Middletown, here today, and we will be delivering the word. You are welcome, Pastor.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Praise the living Jesus.
Hallelujah.
The hallelujah sound like the ones under construction. Say the living shall praise thee, O God. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Glory to God. We can't do too much of it. One more time, shall we rise on our feet? The only person that is not permitted to appreciate God at this moment is if you don't have a woman around you. If you don't have a girl, a mother, or wife, you are not born like a woman or something. So if you have, then let us lift up our voice and appreciate the Lord. The Bible says, "If I regard the day, regard it unto the Lord." We regard today for our mothers, for our wives, for our daughters. We regard today for every dear child. We regard today, oh Lord, we say thank you. We give you praise, Almighty God, for making today a reality. We celebrate. Thank you for filling our world with mothers. Thank you for filling our world with wives. Thank you for filling our world, oh God, with their children. We give you praise, Almighty God. We adore you. Glory be to you, Lord. Thank you, everlasting Lord. We appreciate you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jehovah. We give you praise. We give you all the glory. We give you all. We give you all the glory. We give you all. Eternal Father, from the depth of our heart this morning, we say thank you. First and foremost, for sparing our lives to be among the living, we say thank you. Lord, and for making today to come to pass and meeting us in the land of the living, Father, we say thank you. For this year 2020 Mother's Day, Father, we say thank you. Take all the glory, Lord, in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we ask the blessing you have packaged for us for today. Let it be delivered in the mighty name of Jesus. Holy Spirit, open our eyes of understanding. Beyond what will be said here, Holy Spirit, speak to us. In the mighty name of Jesus. Do a great work in our lives. In the mighty name of Jesus. We give you praise, Lord. Thank you, Jehovah. In Jesus' precious name we are praying. Amen. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Happy Sunday, happy Mother's Day to all our mothers in the house. Every girl child is a potential mother. So every female being in this church, we celebrate you. Just to add to what our pastor has said, we love you and the Lord will keep you for us in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
We are not just making the day to come because it's in the calendar. The Bible says in Romans chapter 14 number 6, he that regard the day regards it unto the Lord. So we regard today unto the Lord in honor and celebration of every female child, every girl, every wife, every mother. And the Lord will keep blessing you in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
I count it as a great privilege to stand before this great congregation on this exalted altar today to bring this word of admonition and charge. I want to appreciate God and appreciate God's servant in the house for giving me the privilege. The Lord will continue to increase you more and more in Jesus' precious name.
Amen.
Higher heights, Christ Chapel in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Praise the Lord. I will be speaking by the grace of God on a real woman. Today being Mother's Day, somebody may be wondering, but I'm not a woman, I'm in the house. Yes, we are come to celebrate. When you celebrate somebody, then God will cause people to celebrate with you. As a matter of fact, anyone that doesn't know to acknowledge or appreciate human being cannot acknowledge and appreciate God. It's not possible. He said you cannot do this thing for the person you see. How do you think you can do it for the God you can't see? There is no way you can see someone like me or you if they have decided to flush out to the toilets when the thing happened. And probably because of situation or circumstance, the devil brought the thought, but God didn't allow it to happen. That's why we are alive. So it's a great privilege. Glory be to God.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. You know, a real woman, ideal mother. A real woman, ideal mother. No, sometimes I imagine how the world would have been without women. How it would have been without women. I don't know. Maybe you have ever thought like that. How the world would have been without women. If you think that it will be better, is a lie. There will have been a lot of aggression if it's only male people that is in the world. A lot of aggression, hostility. There will be a lot of trouble, war. If there is no women in the world, so we bless God for the female counterparts. That is because it can never be good without them. That is why God said it is not good. That statement not good came because of somebody that was missing. Every other creation was in place except for one thing. And that personality was there, a woman. Everything was good. It was good. It was good. But because woman was missing, God said it's not good. And if God said it's not good, then it's not good. It's not good. Forget about the fact that Satan thwarted the purpose. The plan of God still remains. The purpose of God will come to pass. In the mighty name of Jesus. We all know the story of emergence of a woman. We don't need to be going too much into that. We know that a woman is a product of man's surgery. The first surgery that happened on earth was as a result of woman. Man was made to sleep. You know, then the first surgery happened and performed by God himself. We don't know the instrument that he used. Like a hands doctor, you know, his instrument God used to perform. And how long the surgery was, we don't know. But we know that the first surgery, you know, on earth was performed by God on behalf of a woman. Then we are aware of the fact that they were made of sensitive stuff. Woman was taken from a sensitive part of a man. It was. I wonder why God did not take the bone from one of the. This is tibia, or fibula or something. This bone, fibula. I wonder why he didn't take one of that and just use it to make. I think that should look better. Just took something very close to the heart there. So very sensitive, very, very relevant, very important. And of course, we know that emergence of woman is to bring the fulfillment of God's purpose of fruitfulness for humanity. You know, that's to let us know, though God didn't create man at the beginning with Adam, but woman is not inferior to man. No. Woman was created to complement human existence, to bring beauty to it. Someone said something, and I believe it. He says, when God wants to start a great work, he started with a man. But anytime he wants to do an excellent work, he will look for a woman. I quite agree. Looking through the scriptures, there are situations or story or cases to back it up. Why is it that God could not send Jesus Christ to the world to come and save you and I? Why must he go through the womb of a woman? That is part of it. So women are not inferior, though in our world there are a lot of abuses towards women. And that's one of the reasons why we're praying that the Lord will help our world to do things right in the mighty name of Jesus. Briefly, let's consider characteristics of a real woman. Characteristics of a real woman. In our world, there are a lot of negative perception of women, which is not supposed to be. If you have ever seen a bad woman, that is to confirm the fact that there is a good woman somewhere. So number one characteristic of a real woman is that woman is a good thing. Woman is a good thing. Woman is a good thing. I want every woman in the house to carry this sense of honor and dignity as conferred on you by your Creator. You are not a concern to your generation or to your existence. You are a blessing. You are a good thing. That some things are not okay yet doesn't mean you are not good. You are good. That thing that happened is just an event, and you are a person. There is a difference between a person and a circumstance or situation or an event. Every woman is a good thing. So when a woman joins a man in marriage, it's meant for goodness. When a woman gives birth to a child, it's meant for goodness. Woman is a good thing. Woman is not a cause. Woman is not a concern. Woman is a blessing. I'm appealing to all the men, every one of us in the house, to start changing our mentality so that our world can be better. Because without us having a change of mind, God will come down to do this miracle. We are the one that will have a change of mind towards every woman we see or we have in our world. Woman is a good thing. Woman is not a cause, it's not a concern, it's a good thing. Another thing is that woman is a life giver. We can't debate this. A woman carry me, a woman carry you. If that woman had decided to flush us, nothing would have happened. We are just going back to where we are coming from. Woman is a life giver. All these characteristics are to reflect the significance or role that a woman plays in our world. Woman is a multiplier. The woman is a multiplier. Men in the house, without a woman, or if you bring 20 or 50 men in a particular place and bring just a single woman, you will see the uniqueness of that woman among the 50 men. There are men that are good cook, there are men that could do some house, whatever, but yet there will still be a family difference that is missing. So woman is a multiplier. Any little thing they can manage it and make it happen. I'm talking of every woman. You manage the little thing. What you are thinking is not enough. The money that you think, this money cannot do anything, you can't buy land, you can't get a property, you can't do that. Let the woman come into it. I'm talking of every woman. You will see how that thing can be multiplied. I've had occasion whereby, by the grace of God in my home, my wife at one time or another, we have people living with us, and maybe the thing is what I have, I draw. Praise the Lord. How it happened, the miracle. That is not my problem. I go, I just come back. I mean something good. Woman is a multiplier. May the Lord continue to bless our women to play this role effectively in the mighty name of Jesus. No, woman is a crown of creation. Woman is a crown of creation. That is to let us know the position they occupy in God's scheme or agenda for humanity. Woman is a crown of creation. After God created woman, he rested. After he created woman, no other thing. The next thing is what? Is rest. That means to say, an ideal woman is to give rest. One, to her husband, to her father, and to our world. An ideal woman is to give rest to our world. To our husband, when your husband is with you as a woman, then the husband should be able to have rest of mind. The Lord will help us in Jesus' special name. And of course, lastly, a woman is an epitome of beauty. Woman is an epitome of beauty. Every ugly thing can be turned around with women, with the wisdom of God. The beauty we are talking about is not in cosmetic, It's in the wisdom and the nature they make up, the way God just wired them, the way package them and to function. epitome of beauty. So when you see ugliness, you could see something you have arranged this in the best way and you think that is the best as a man. But if a woman just said it to you, they say, this is this or that. At times she says, this is off color, riots, all those stuff. You know, that kind of a thing. They are just trying to exhibit, play their role. And when they are doing that, I appeal to all men, don't snub them, appreciate them. In the name of Jesus. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. But we need to get the fact that a woman is born, but motherhood is a calling. A woman is born. Every woman was once a child. A woman is born. But motherhood is a calling. And is this touch of motherhood that our world is craving for, our generation is craving for. If every woman can accept the call of being a mother, then it will make a difference, a great difference in our world. And that's why we are acknowledging today for women and mothers, believing God that our world will become better. In the mighty name of Jesus. In the mighty name of Jesus. Until a woman sees motherhood as a calling, he will never fulfill that cause. She will never fulfill it. Until a woman sees motherhood as a calling. Motherhood is a calling. It's not because I'm just a woman. It's not every woman that is a mother. It is not every woman that is an ideal mother. So for someone to be an ideal mother, then you must see it as a calling and accept it. That Lord will help us in Jesus' name. You know, a typical example of a ideal mother is in the scriptures. We have Sarah, our mother in faith. Isaiah chapter 51, verse 1 to 2. Especially God was talking to them, saying, look unto your father that bear you, your mother that bear you. I call him alone and I made him and I bless him. Isaiah chapter 51. So motherhood is a calling. When this is being accepted, then it will make the effect or the blessing of it to move around or circulate around human existence. Being the mother, we know it's not just carrying a baby through, okay, in the womb. No, that's not just being a mother. As a matter of fact, we have different kinds of children. When I mean different kinds of children, there are biological children. So it's not just because someone carrying a baby in the womb has made the person an ideal woman, a mother. No, it's not. That's why I say motherhood is a calling. It's wanting to be a woman. It's another thing to accept the calling of being a mother. Because if you look at the characteristics of a mother, that are equally the characteristics of an ideal or a real woman. Praise the Lord. There are biological children. There are natural children. Maybe you have a daughter gets married. You have an in-law. You have a natural child. Praise the Lord. There are spiritual children. In a setting like this, there are adopted children, and there are generational children. It takes a mother to be able to carry all these together. Be a blessing to biological children. Be a blessing to natural children. Be a blessing to spiritual children. Be a blessing to adopted children. And be a blessing to generations. There are generational children. So it takes a mother to make generational impact. It takes a mother to make generational impact. We have many examples of good mothers in the scripture. I mentioned Sarah the other time. We know of Jochebed. Jochebed, the mother of Moses. Jochebed, the mother of Moses. You know the risk that woman took? She was not just a wife, a mother. She carried generation. She could see generation in Moses. That was why she took that risk against King's instruction to destroy every mankind. She put her life on line. Jochebed in the Exodus chapter 2 verse 1. Jochebed, the mother of Moses. She took a risk. We know the story. That's a mother, a generational mother. A generational mother. She took a risk to went contrary to King's instruction to spare the life of Moses. And we know the story of Moses. We have great mother like Anna, we have great mother like Abigail, Esther. Your great mother like Mary, the one that carry, the pregnancy of our Lord Jesus. That a generational mother. That's why I said motherhood is a calling. A generational mother. As soon as that lady visited Elizabeth had been barren. As soon as he greeted Elizabeth, what happened? The baby in the womb of Elizabeth leaped for joy. That's a generational mother. May the Lord make our mothers to be generational mothers in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. With the thought of mother in this generation, the world will be a better place to live. Not just anyone in family physique or something. We are talking about real mothers. And that is our prayer. That is our prayer. Because without them taking their place, the world will never change. How do I know? There is no man that a woman cannot make to sleep. There is no man. Before woman came forth, Adam was made to sleep. There is no man that a woman cannot make to sleep. So it means women have great effect or influence over we men. Great one. Women have great influence on children. Then who else remain in the world? That's why we're praying that the Lord will help them that to be generational mothers so that our world can be a better place to live. There are kinds of women too, like the like Mrs. Job. Mrs. Job? She told the husband, you are still holding on to your integrity. Curse God. There are women like that in our world. That is not the time we are talking about. And they are not the time we are celebrating today. They are celebrating the women that God has ordained to turn this generation around. May the Lord help our women in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
We need to consider one person, a personality in the scripture called Deborah. That's why we are going to look into the scripture this time around. Judges, the book of Judges. Let's look at the book of Judges. Deborah, Judges chapter 4, verse 4. Judges chapter 5 and verse 7. Judges chapter 4, verse 5, verse 4. Judges chapter 5 and verse 7. And then the next scripture we are going to read is Romans chapter 12, verse 1 to 2. Those are the scriptures to be read before we round up in this program. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Deborah in the book of Judges chapter 4, that was an ideal woman, ideal mother who affected a generation for good. I said something earlier on that when God want to do a great work, he looks for a man. But he want to do an excellent work, he looks for a mother, a woman. That means to say that women has a lot, whether directly or indirectly, influence or role to play in our generation. Judges chapter 4 verse 4. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidot, she judged Israel at that time. Chapter 5 and verse 7. The inhabitants of the village Gisis, they ceased in Israel until that Deborah arose. May the Lord help our women to arise. Amen. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. That I arose a mother in Israel. The Bible says everything written is written for our example that we may learn and make it better. Now, Deborah was a woman. But she accepted motherhood as a calling. She was a prophetess. She was a judge. She was a wife. And she was a mother. She played this role effectively. And that made a difference in our whole generation. She taught her world because she accepted motherhood as a calling. May the Lord help us and multiply this kind of women in our church, Amen. In our families, Amen. In our society, Amen. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. All these four attributes of Deborah can summarize or group it into two. We talk of capacity, then we talk of character. That's all. Capacity and character. That was what Deborah exhibited, and that make her to stand out, make her to excel in her generation. Capacity and character. Capacity and character. Though I acknowledge the fact that men have a vital role to play to help our world, make our world better. I acknowledge that fact, and that's why I'm appealing to every man today that we should give the necessary support to our women to make the world better. The Lord will help us in the mighty name of Jesus. Most of the time when we put accusing fingers on a woman, then we should check ourselves over 3 times whether I'm actually playing my role, because they say 2 wrongs can never make a right. So if we claim somebody is wrong, then I should be sure I'm not wrong, I'm not wrong too. The Lord will help us in Jesus' precious name. Amen. One thing I know about women, that in every woman's womb, there are babies. And that means there are blessings. Likewise, in every woman's womb, there is a tiger. You can only have the babies if you pamper the baby. But if you tamper with the tiger, there will be a trouble. So if you tamper with a woman, and a woman anyhow, there will be trouble. But if they are not helping us to be able to pamper the babies, then we can have the babies. However, I'm appealing to every woman that as women, children of God, we are to kill the tigers and not the baby, because a mother always nurture, a mother always knows. What are the babies? The blessing to our world, the blessing to our families, the blessing to our workplace, the blessing to our community. Let every woman kill the tiger. It is natural to have a tiger growing in the womb and even deliver the tiger. But as a child of God, as a woman, it is expected of God that we kill the tiger so that our world can be better. We kill the tiger. The Bible makes us to know that every woman, a wise woman, will build her own house. A fool will tear down her home. A wise person will build her family. A wise woman will build her community. A wise woman will build a church where God has planted her. So it means woman, as a person that has great influence in our world, we have what it takes to turn our world around positively. Every woman has what it takes. Every woman has potential. May the Lord engrace our women to be able to utilize the potential in the mighty name of Jesus. Proverbs chapter 14 verse 1. A wise woman build her own house, a foolish one will tear it down. You know, it takes the word of God to become wise. And that's why the last scripture that I quoted the other time, Romans chapter 12, is very, very necessary. So what am I really saying today? I'm appealing to our mothers, our wives, our sisters, to please go in the way of the Lord. Go in the way of the Lord. Embrace the word of God. Tap into the grace of God to be able to influence our world positively. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your body as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that you may prove that which is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. That Lord will help us in the mighty name of Jesus. When we yield ourselves to the word of God, that the word of God will turn us around to be a blessing. The potentials are there. We have the influence. There is no room for competition. You have your role. Every man has his role. Every woman has her role. And a man cannot play the role of a woman effectively. We cannot. So no one is competing. All we needed to do is just to give ourselves to the word of God and be washed by the water of the word of God. Then it will make us to be a real woman. Because from the scripture, we can see a picture of the destiny that God has ordained for us. That God will help us in the mighty name of Jesus. Please let it not be that any woman will despise the word of God. Whosoever despises the word of God has despised God himself. And when we hearken to the word of the Lord, we are willing and we are obedient to the word of God, then the blessings and the goodness of the land will be our portion in the name of Jesus. It is my prayer today that the Lord will turn the ashes of our women to beauty. It is my prayer today, as many women that are having bitterness, that are passing through sorrow, that the Lord will reach out unto them with healing. In the mighty name of Jesus. As many women that are carrying body, may the Lord of heaven reach you today, wherever you are, and take away your body. In the mighty name of Jesus. As many that are believing God for the fruit of the womb today, may the Lord visit you today and make today your day of joy and celebration. That by this time next year, you will have a cause to celebrate in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Jehovah. We give you praise, Almighty God, in Jesus' precious name. Amen. What are we saying? We should expose ourselves to the word of God for the cleansing, for beauty, for the glory of God to manifest in our lives. In Jesus' precious name. Shall we rise up in our feet and bless him? Let's give him praise, give him glory, and worship him. Thank you, Jehovah. Jesus' name.
thank you for bringing us before your presence.
Yes, Lord.
We thank you for making it possible to gather at your feet. We thank you for all our mothers.
Thank you, Lord.
We thank you for Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Father, we rejoice and we honor all our mothers in our lives.
Yes, Lord.
Father, we give you praise.
Hallelujah.
Father, we give you worship.
Hallelujah.
Accept all our thanks in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Daddy, for every mothers, let their joy be full in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
For every mothers, let their prayers be answered in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
For every mothers, things that will make them to be fulfilled, to become a reflection of an ideal mother. Father, I ask that you will give to them in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
That grace, that ability, that character that will showcase your name in what you've assigned them to do in that home. Father, give to them in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
For all our mothers, Father, you will establish them in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
For all our mothers, make them to fulfill in their ministries that you have committed to their heart in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
We know that for every mother, the first ministry is their family. Father, I ask, oh God, give unto them the grace to be fulfilled in that home in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Let your glory reflect in their life, through their life, and shine, oh God, into the neighborhood where they are in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Father, we want to thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
We commit this week unto you. Father, we go with your power in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
We sanctify every minute, every second of this week with your blood.
Yes.
We receive our victory and our divine protection in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
God of heaven, King of glory, show us your mercy and put an end to this plague of the virus in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Father, we want to thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
Blessed be the name, O Lord.
Hallelujah.
In Jesus' name that we have prayed.
Amen.
Let's share the grace in fellowship. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Surely, goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Happy Mother's Day.